Hey everyone, this is Firewolf34. If I sound a little nasally or something like that, it's because I just got out of surgery and I basically have my mouth stitched together at the moment, so that is no fun. But basically, for today's Adventure Map weekend, what we're doing, well, I shouldn't say today's, but for yesterday's and today's Adventure Map weekend, we did Primordial Desert. What Primordial Desert and we stumbled upon this about a year and a half ago, so it's quite an old map. It is a map that basically generates a giant desert with oases and mountains in it, volcanoes, dungeons. Very cool map generator. I'll throw a link to the guy who made it in the description because he deserves all the credit he can get, as this is an amazing map. It's very well thought out and it plays great. Now, what this is over here is a little house that I made out of sand, obviously, because we're in the desert, so I figured I'd make it, you know, themed. This is a pyramid, if you couldn't tell. It doesn't actually spawn like this. I dug out the sand, moved a couple sand dunes, and put it over there. So, but this does spawn naturally. Right here, this is called an oasis. And your goal is to find as many oases as you can for the sunsets. Dig up some wood, make some tools and stuff, and go mining. And, you know, just like normal Minecraft, find dungeons and stuff. Over here is my chest. Got a lot of diamonds because certain areas of the map are very, very, very ore rich and full of resources. Especially the underground lava tubes and stuff, which I will go into in a second. But here's a mountain range. Mountain ranges are really, really cool in this map. Some of the coolest things I've seen in pre-1.2 land in terms of mountains and height. Because you have to realize this generator was made in 1.3, beta 1.3. So very long time ago. And it's encased in a giant bedrock wall to make sure that no one gets out of the map. Although back then, well, you couldn't climb over it. Nowadays you can. So technically you can get out of the map. If you do get out of the map, you'll just reach another part of the world that's been generated. And it's, you know, way to cheat. But anyone who does that will be banned. Rule number 1 right there. No, I'm kidding. Just don't do it. Unless you want to spoil the map for yourself. Because you might as well be playing survival single player then. So yeah, these volcanoes generate randomly. And they look very, very fucking cool. And I figured I'd just put this video up as an overview to try to give you guys an idea of what this adventure map was. And, you know, maybe explain to you some of the cool things we did. Just have some history, throw it up on the media page or whatever on our YouTube. Just go over some stuff. So I figured I'd show you some gameplay. And over here on this mountain, there is if you see that cobblestone entrance right there, that's an area that I've been digging in. But it leads into this mountain right here, which, as you can see, is hollow. So, it's difficult to find these things, although they do spawn semi-frequently. Let's turn off F1 and travel in. They spawn dungeons and everything with this map. This is an example of a dungeon that spawns randomly. I've explored the majority of it so far, but it is pretty cool. Like, as you can see, this is an unexplored part. There's traps, you know, there's lots of traps actually, pretty dangerous stuff. Although they get blown up by mobs, which is what that hole is right there. Because the mobs fall in the traps and blow up, which is kind of a fail. But, you know, it's the mobs' fault. The mobs weren't so stupid. Here's an example of a trap here. These things spawn with pressure plates all over the place. Some of them have TNT under them. If you do happen to fall into it, you're basically completely screwed because this sand falls. You're in a void pit now. Even if you do manage to live, which you don't, you are basically fucked. But an interesting thing about this is each place generates differently because there is a what I like to call lava tube that generates underneath the land. Basically, giant tunnels made out of rock um, and whatever's down there. And these lava tubes are where you find the majority of the ores and such, especially the lava ones, which in that case it's really difficult to get down because there's lava in it. But this one happens to have a stairwell leading into it, which is kind of cool. Now this map was made before the days of void fog. So as you see around me, there's these particles. If I wasn't in creative, which you wouldn't be because we play legit, I'm only in creative so we can show you the world. It would look like this, which means basically you're in hell. Now normally it would look like this though, because there wasn't any void lag back in the day. Now let's get some torches and go exploring, shall we? Alright, so as you can see, this is quite a big tunnel. If I light up the entire thing, it's quite large. They get larger and they do branch off and decrease and increase in size depending on the generator. But they go all over the place. I think that's not a branch. Never mind. They go all over the place. And they're very cool. Sometimes you find giant lava tubes. I've managed to get a bunch of really cool screenshots and such. Oh, here you go. Check this out. This is an example of ore spawning at the dead end. The way the map generator works is it spawns ore at the dead ends of tunnels. So, yeah, very, very cool. Another thing of note is that these places do spawn above ground. There's these little dungeons that spawn frequently. They're basically little cobblestone temples. Yeah, they're very, very cool. It's a very treacherous map to play on. It's the reason we're playing on normal right now, because if you were playing on hard, you'd basically die. There'd be no way to get anywhere. Normal is much easier to play on because you don't starve to death, and it's extremely difficult to find food in this desert. Really, the only thing you end up eating for the first couple nights is rotten flesh, and that's if you manage to find zombies and kill them, because you need to find the ore and the rock to actually make the tools. And you need wood, obviously. That's probably the biggest pain in the ass to find. But, you know, I'm trying to find you a little dungeon temple thing here. You do find these things eventually. If you manage to stumble across an oasis, you're basically set, because it gives you all the tools you need. Oh, here's another mountain. Oh, this is one that I think I already explored. It's really cool. It's kind of like a Mount Mordor sort of thing. And these kind of just spawn randomly. At nighttime, you need to get shelter immediately, or you will die. There's really no way to get around it. But, you know, it is possible. This looks cool. Let's travel in here. See, this goes straight down into a lava tube. The thing to note is that all this is pre-generated, so you don't have to worry about traveling too far and accidentally causing lag when you generate these giant structures, as these maps are pre-generated, just like most of our adventure map weekends. Oh, here's a volcano. Looks like most of the lava's been taken out of this one, though. So yeah, I'm Firewolf34, and I just wanted to make this video to give you guys an idea of what Primordial Desert is, and maybe we'll do it again in the future. You never know. Hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.